Hello, students. This is Dr. Sue Gussie, and this brief video will introduce me to you. Some of you may have had me before for other courses, but some may not have. And so a few slides here about me, my background, my expectations of you. And you should be seeing a picture of me here on the top left. And this is a couple years ago, but I still pretty much look like that. And I'd like to also point out up here in the corner the main building for Eastern Illinois University. And this building is called, nicknamed the Castle. And you can see why. And it is a very distinctive building built a very long time ago, maybe 80, 100 years ago. It was completely refreshed, I think about 10 years ago, and is in great shape. The gates there represent the gateway to knowledge, the gateway to education. And in the spring and in the fall, when graduation time comes, you can see a lot of students standing in front of those gates getting their pictures taken. And that's where I want you to see yourself, getting through this program, being successful, and standing there either virtually or in real life, uh, celebrating successfully completing the course. And I will help you all that I can to do that. So, again, I am Dr. Sue Gussie. I am an associate professor emeritus. What that means is I am retired from full-time faculty work, but I still teach a course or two a year. In the bottom of this slide, you see on the left the Booth Library. And if you never come to campus, you will visit the Booth Library virtually. And that is a very important building on campus, of course, and one useful for our students. And then at the bottom slide here, this is 9th Street Hall. I'm sorry, that's a little fuzzy. But that is where the nursing program, both departments of the nursing program, the traditional program and the online program, are housed in 9th Street Hall. I think they should name it something else. But it's a nice renovated building also on campus. So, what do you call me? You can call me Dr. Gussie. That my last name rhymes with hussy, fussy. I like the O ought to be a U. You can call me Professor. You can call me Sue. But do not call me Goose. Sometimes, for whatever reasons, people write that down, Goose, and it's not Goose, it's Gussie. Okay, gotta go back to the early years. And we all have a family of origin. We have a family of preference and a family of origin. And these two families very much influence our lives, the life that we lead, and the success and the achievements we have, and our satisfaction in life. So this is my family of origin. Mom and dad. My dad was a Korean War veteran, and mother was a housewife. And Dad worked for J.C. Penney and moved around. We moved around frequently to every time he got a promotion, a different job in the company, we would move around. So started out in Virginia and then lived in Pennsylvania most of my elementary school years. And then when I hit high school, moved to Indiana. And this picture was taken in Indiana. I think I'm a junior. I wouldn't swear to it. In high school, so pay attention. It's Linda, my older sister, then me. I'm the second one in the back, and the next to me is Penny. Next to Penny is Kim, and seated left, Lily. Mother, of course. Mother has baby brother Bill, and then Dad has Regina. So what can you tell from this picture? Dad really wanted a son. So there is 6 girls in a row, and then baby brother Bill. So 9 of us grew up in a crazy big family. There's lots of dysfunction, difficulties. My parents are both gone now. I still miss them. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from. Number 2 in a family. Generally, I had a sister, an older sister, who was gifted in delegation skill. So she would try to tell me what to do, and usually we would roll on the floor trying to resolve our conflicts. But got through it. I got through it. Neither of my parents went to college, and I was the first one to get through college, earn a degree. So I am proud of that. And so that's where I'm coming from. So my education started at Indiana University Kokomo, and I finished my associate degree, started out associate degree just like many of you. And then I finished a bachelor's pretty quickly after that. Then I went and practiced many years and was important after I was in practice about 16, 18 years to further my education. And I got a master's degree from Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. And then got married and didn't think I would ever get married. And my husband took us to Ohio for his work. And I worked at the Ohio State University Medical Center and then decided to finish a PhD there at Ohio State. So had a variety of educational background, but in between times I've had a lot of practice experience. Right out of school, I went into the ICU and worked in big city hospitals and small city hospitals, town hospitals. Indianapolis, Tipton is in Indiana, Noblesville's in Indiana, Connersville, small city in Indiana. I moved to Missouri for a couple of years, Springfield, Missouri. At one time, I wanted to be a medical missionary, and I completed a course at a Bible college in Springfield, Missouri. Didn't pan out. My dad had a stroke, and I was needed to help my parents. So moved back to Muncie from Missouri and went into that hospital expecting to work in the ICU, where I had been for about 15 years, 16 years, and there was no openings in the ICU for whatever reason, and I went into the operating room. which was a whole nother realm, another way of being a nurse. But it took me a long time to get used to that scope of nursing practice, but finally did, and enjoyed it and stayed there about 6 years. I ruined my back in the operating room and had to find another way to be a nurse. Along the way, I had some management and house supervisory experience. So, the wonderful thing about our profession is you have lots of opportunity and less heavy lifting in the educational realm, and still important work to do. So I went into staff development, and I was med-surg staff development instructor for several years. And then when we moved to Ohio, I did the similar things at the Ohio State Medical Center, training new nurses coming in, training student nurses coming in who wanted to work for the hospital, and PCAs, we call them, are nursing assistants. When I decided to finish a PhD, I went over to the college where I was a clinical instructor. So I had a group. I had a group in many areas of the medical center. It's a wonderful thing about a medical center. You see so many different areas. I was in rehab. I was in ICUs. I was in renal and general med surg. I worked, had a group in the prison unit. So much fun being in the prison unit. But it was interesting ways of nursing. Then when I finished my PhD, we moved to Terre Haute, Indiana, and I was an instructor at the for senior med surg, clinical instructor, and then that grew into junior med surg and senior med surg. And then one year it was all three med surg. So I went to Eastern Illinois University in 2011 when that full-time online position came available. So, and I've enjoyed the online teaching for the last 10, 12 years. So here's my nursing philosophy. There are many ways and preferences for learning. And so my courses, I like to use a variety of approaches, maybe a video, maybe a web page, using the discussion, using a quizzing, using the textbook. And then it's my job to keep the class interesting, challenging, enjoyable. You are responsible for your own learning, and I am responsible for facilitating the process, and you are responsible for letting me know what your difficulties are if you have them. Okay, gotta say a little bit about research. These are tissue slides, 2 tissue slides from 2 different patients who have a medical problem. And if I tell you these are tissue slides from the pancreas, can you guess what the problem is in slide 2? What is the problem? And if I tell you these little purple dots represent are the islets of Langerhans, then you can probably tell me that slide 2 is someone with diabetes mellitus, which is correct. So this slide 1 is a normal, healthy pancreas, and slide 2 is one whose islets have been destroyed and so therefore do not secrete uh, insulin. So I have a research interest in helping people with diabetes to manage their disease. What skills, what do they need to know to manage it? I also have academic research interests, critical thinking, online education. Um, we want you to deepen your critical thinking skills, and that is a huge outcome of increased education. So, my loves, here's my husband on blowing the snow. A couple years ago, not this winter, it's been pretty mild. Um, Florida, picture of Florida. There's my cat. Her name is Callie. And flowers, I like gardening. And my uh, granddaughter there is uh, throwing the softball. She's a freshman in college on the softball team in the College of New Jersey. And then the bottom right is my husband and his daughter and her family, couple kids there and her husband. So that's me. I hope you know a little more about me. And now I want to hear about you posting on the web page, particularly about your nursing background, your goals, your family, any interests, hobbies, things you are comfortable sharing, what you want to get out of the course, or what's your biggest fear about this course. So, thanks for listening to the introduction.